Oops. I hope that works. Okay. Can you guys all see the screen? I can make it slightly bigger. Okay, so today's lesson is on Redis caching. And I thought we could do like quick introduction. So I'm Niharika, and I learned Ruby and Rails kind of through RailsSchool. So this is like, it's a really cool program. I learned through it, and if you guys feel comfortable, you can also talk to Gabe about teaching. If you want to teach, it's a great way to learn more. I work at Sonar, which is a startup that does mobile messaging for people. Used to learn from RailsSchool. And I'd love to hear what you guys do and what brought you here and why you want to learn about caching in particular, so we can tailor the discussion towards that.
Okay, so my name is Chris. I learned Rails through self-teaching, and I also went to Academy, which is boot camp. So I've been using it for 4 months, I guess, and I'm curious about Redis because I'm just curious about caching and NoSQL databases in general.
Cool. Arnold?
No, so far, but I work at questions and I'm also about RailsSchool. Caching is another thing that I never like in my self-studies. I never really got to caching, so it's kind of cool to get a chance to volunteer.
Cool.
I'm Dan. I work at a company called Redis. Unfortunately, I don't get to do a lot of Rails work. I mostly do self-taught Rails, and that's also caching.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm Nick. I don't really work in programming or anything, but I took a class, like an online class with Rails about 2 years ago. I was kind of working on projects on that. I just recently learned what Redis is. It seems like a lot more streamlined than trying to install a database. So,
Cool.
My name is Gabe. I teach here at RailsSchool, and I work for a company called Minty. Around 2 weeks ago, we don't cache anything. Probably just started.
Cool. So I have a plan for today, but I haven't executed it before, so I'll rely on you guys, which will be nice because you guys are all self-teachers, so I think we have a lot of entrepreneurial people here. The plan is that basically one of the biggest use cases for caching is that you want to not have your app be slow. And a case where that often comes up is that you have a ton of database entries, and whenever someone goes to your website, you're waiting to load all of them, and once all of those are loaded, you're going to show the page. So what caching allows you to do is to maybe store in memory, like instead of disk, which is the database, like the first 2 pages of your database, like what it would look like on the front end, and just have that pull up and let the rest load afterwards. So you can at least show something to the user first. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make an app, a Rails app. We're gonna use the Baker gem to create a big database. And we'll just do like books in a library, basically. And then what we'll do is we'll install Redis. And has everyone installed Redis ahead of the class? Yeah, cool. So you get the Redis gem, and then we'll start caching. And we'll create 2 methods so we can compare the speed. And hopefully our database is large enough that we actually see a difference. Sometimes if the database is kind of small, we won't really see a difference. And if we have time, we can do like autocomplete and search. I think that'd be cool. So if we have like a bunch of books and we cache all the titles, then we can easily autocomplete without waiting for the database. So this is going to be extra credit. Okay, so let's start with a new terminal. And I'm just going to the folder where I like store everything. Is everyone able to see the screen well? I'll move this here. Okay, so I'm going to do a Rails new books. Oh, I'm in the wrong repo. Oh no, I'm good. Rails new books. Still running, I think. So I'm going to go into that folder, and I'm going to basically open everything in my editor. I don't know how to make this bigger. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is let's add the Faker gem. And what Faker will allow us to do is make fake data easily. And I'll do a bundle install. And the next thing we can do is create a scaffold for books. I think it's just, that's books. Name, or we'll do a title, string, author, string. I don't know, I think description, string, and maybe content. String, I forgot now. It's string shorter than like text. Oh, so we should do text for those. For content, yeah. So what I'm gonna go to my database and delete the migration file I created and just redo it. For content and description, let's do text. So let's see, I created a model, book.rb. I created a migration. I have some tests. Oh, I didn't delete. Oh, I see. Let's overwrite. Yes. Let's make sure I don't have 2 models. Yeah, I just have one because I overwrote it. So I have a model, I have a controller with a bunch of stuff, and I have some views. And then let's just make sure, let's open a new tab in terminal and run our server. Oh, I think I already have a server running. Oh no. Okay. Okay, so I haven't done my migration, so let's do RakeDB migrate. Cool. I'm gonna restart my server. Okay, cool. So we have the basic Rails app page, but if we go to books, that should take us to the standard book scaffold. Okay, so now it's time to make some books. So in our books model, let's create a method, which is generate. And I think it's on self. Oh, I don't need. Well, let's try generate first. Would it be on itself if I'm gonna like do a book.generate, books.generate?
Yes.
I don't know why I don't have different color. Okay, let's try that. So here we're gonna use the Faker gem. So let's look up the documentation for the Faker gem. So Faker is just a library for getting fake data. We did gem install Faker, and apparently it's as easy as just this. So let's try this. Our author is gonna be, let's go into console and try it first. So we know it works. Cool. Oh wow, what a nice name. Okay, so it seems to work. And then if we look at a book.new, those are the parameters we'll need. So author equals Faker name, okay? Title equals I think there's something for like just a bunch of words. Oh, here we go. Let's create a sentence for the title. And I can have a different word count. So optional arguments, word count 4, supplemental false, random words to add equals 6. Okay, so let's just do it's not clear what this is doing. Let's just do the basic thing. I think we don't care that much. So I'm going to make the title a sentence. I'm going to make the description a sentence. Or let's make the description a paragraph. Okay, and then we'll make the content maybe like make it a paragraph with like 15 sentences. And we could just test this out in console quickly. Maybe like 40. That was kind of short. Okay, so ideally what I want to do is be like, hey, make a like new book. So book equal, let's just do book.new. And just make Gabe, can I do a self.new here? It's like basic stuff, right? Yeah? Okay, let's try it out.
Probably don't even need the self out if that works.
We can try that in a second. Okay, Rails C. So I just got back into console, so it has the updated model, which I just saved. Cool. So I didn't do a book.save actually. Yeah, I still don't have one. It did create something. Can exit console, re-enter it. Cool. Okay, I have a book. The title's kind of long. Let's try to limit it. Let's make it 4 words. Not much. It is shorter, but it's not 4 words. That's weird. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so this will generate books, but maybe we want to have like, okay, how many books do we want to generate? Let's make 100. Or we can put an n and then do an n dot times do. And this will create however many number of books we want. Oops. Let's try to make 1,000, or let's try to make 100 first, so we don't blow it out, please. That's pretty quick. So now let's just look at our index page and see if we have a ton of books. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna generate like 10,000 now.
Yes.
I wonder if it'll take a long time. Are you guys, is your thing running fine?
No, well,
Is there any, like, anywhere you're stuck?
same, you mean, it's expecting 0 argument when it has
Do you have a parenthesis n there? And it's expecting 0 arguments when you pass in 1.
Right.
Do you save it?
I did, and then I'm starting console.
Yeah, sometimes you have to restart console. I probably should have not outputted.
Okay.
every time.
Well, all it's outputting is
Yeah.
the SQL. You would have to turn that off.
How many did you do first time?
Huh?
How many did you create first time?
100? So it should be 10 times slower than that?
It'll take 100 times.
Oh, 100 times.
You can open up another Rails C and count it. And see how maybe. Oh, wow, let's do that.
Okay, cool. Cool. So I should have a ton of books now.
Never really.
There we go.
Holy crap. Nice to have a fast computer. It's great.
It's really slow. So I think we should add pagination first to save our lives, right? Is that hard?
That's like the real way to solve this problem.
We should do pagination and caching, right?
You can't, I mean, you wouldn't really, yeah, you can cache it at the first page.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah, we can cache the first page, and maybe at the end we can add like a little search with autocomplete.
you can add caching. If you can add caching, you can add caching now to show that it does.
Okay.
Make like a
Yeah, we can do that.
one or two words and magnitude difference. That's pretty fast. I'm surprised how fast it was. It was like 12 seconds.
We can probably check. I can refresh. Is your problem still persisting?
No, I don't.
Okay, yeah, restarting console. So if I refresh it, I'll see here probably.
You will. Stay strong. The only one we care about is XHR. Click on documents, books, 200. 11 seconds to do 20 megabytes. It's pretty quick for your app server to gather all that stuff from the database. Make it HTML.
I'm pretty impressed because I also apparently have another server running, which I can't find. I have no idea what's running.
The time to beat is 11 seconds.
Okay. Cool. So let's do it. So let's look up Redis caching for Rails. Caching for Rails. We have a Redis Rails gem. Okay, this apparently will install several other Redis gems. So let's just add it and do a bundle install. I'm going to go to my gem file. Install Redis for Redis Rails gem for caching. I'm going to exit my console for a sec and do a bundle install. Is everyone following along fine? Cool. So the first thing it says is to config the cache store. Did everybody run their Redis server? We should also do like open a new tab and just type Redis-server, and that'll run your server. If you have trouble with that, let me know. Mine's just running in the background. I close that tab usually, and it just keeps running until I restart my computer.
So we did check if it's already on.
I think
I did set up to like launch.
I think it won't rerun it if you do that, but we could check. Yeah, it would say already in use, I think. Running. Oh, you can check if Redis is working by doing this. Redis-CLI ping. Let's try that. Yep, that's pretty cool. I like the way they let you check it. Let me know when everybody's Redis servers are up and running. Yeah? Yours is good?
I installed Redis, but when I tried to run that command, it told me to install Redis server. So
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe, did you do make?
yeah.
Huh. It's cool. We can play a little bit with Redis in the meantime, so we can set keys and values. So let's, I don't know, set. Oh, this is in Redis CLI. So we go Redis CLI, and we're in the Redis command line interface. And we can do set hello world. And then I can be like get hello, and I get world. Are you good?
Yeah.
Cool. So I just typed exit to exit that. And now we're going to follow the instructions for this gem and configure our Redis store to cache and then expire in 90 minutes. So this, it says to do it in config/application.rb. So I'm going to go to config application.rb. And I'm just at the bottom of my books module, I'm going to put cache store. So this says, if you want to use Redis as a back end for sessions, you will also need to set this. So in config initializers session store. And I think instead of my application, I'll use books. Did I call my application books? That's really confusing. That's okay. I think that's our caching URL because that's default, so I don't think we need to break it apart or anything. But let's see. We'll see very soon if we have issues.
We replace my application with whatever we.
Yeah. So I named it books. This tells me how to run tests. Let's see if they have more documentation. Okay, let's try this out. So I'm going to stop my server and just make sure everything runs. Oops. Okay, it seems to be running fine. I wish this described better how to use it. So I went to this link. Okay, this is not helpful. Let's just go to Redis's documentation now. So we were already at the quick start guide. So we can look at Redis commands. Let's see, cache for a Rails app. Oh, they used a different Redis gem. Let's make sure we installed Redis with our, I think we did. We did this. They create a Redis namespace, which we can do. So in config initializers redis.rb, I'm going to make a new file called redis.rb, and it basically creates a global variable called Redis.
How do you know you starting my server? Because it didn't like
Oh, really?
Yeah. It says, undefined local variable and books.
Did you put a capital B? Was your application not a capital B either?
Application was lowercase.
Oh,
Maybe I mean,
yeah, try that.
yeah, that works.
Okay. Okay. Okay, apparently you have to convert it to JSON to store for Redis too. So let's do this. In our book model,
Client sent off with no password set. Display this is with that tags on application
I wonder if,
That's a Redis problem. Error clients and off the password is set.
we could Google it.
We copied this stuff that says password my secret. Yeah. Is there really a password on the database?
On the Redis?
Yeah.
I guess if you set one when you installed it, but there
What do you
should
have up there?
up where?
In your Redis config, in your instance. You can't see it because it goes off the screen.
I can just replace it.
Yeah, we want is book right on the RA house. There was extra config.
Oh, got it. You got it? I'm gonna. Do you want me to paste it to our Etherpad?
Working?
Yeah.
You guys will paste it.
Okay, cool. So I think we'll have like one method to get non-cached books and one method to get cached books, and then we can compare. Or we already know that we took 11 seconds for.
It'd be nice to have two methods.
Okay. Okay, so let's do. So we're going to create a method called cache. Okay, and then we're going to do books, book.all. Or book.all. I think this should work. And then we can do, since we made this nifty variable for it, well, let's first make an array. So titles equals an array. And then let's put in titles b.title. We can do the same for authors. And then let's just do just one for now to make sure our method works so that we don't try it too much, like try it twice for a large amount of books. So we'll do Redis dot set. Let's see, they do 2 JSON, so we can do, you get, if this is saying, like, this is trying to get categories, if the Redis store is empty, then it gets all the categories and puts them to JSON and sets it. So we could actually just set it all. So we don't have to do just the titles if we want. We can do books equals book.all.to JSON, which will take time, I'm sure. And then it just sets it. Sorry for the change in plan. We might want to do titles individually later if we want to do just search for titles. And then I'll call this books underscore JSON so we know. And let's just do this for the first one first instead of all. I'll paste this in the Etherpad. If you guys want to copy it. I have an error because I have an uninitialized constant Redis namespace. I think we can do something simple and just do redis.new and try that.
Where would we do that?
This is in config initializers redis.rb. Oh, I made that. So in config, in initializers, I made a redis.rb just to have like a global constant for Redis. Okay, so now what I can do is go look at my books method, and I can do book.cache. Okay, it seems like that okay is the kind of okay we got from Redis earlier. And then we can do book.print cache, and we'll know it worked if we never have a database query. We didn't. Okay. So now what we can do is do it for all of them. That was really quick. Is it that quick? Oh, because I didn't reload console. Yeah, it's still working now. Are you guys following along? Is there anything confusing?
Mine is saying that the global variable. Oh,
Everyone's good? Yeah, I don't see
He's
thumbs
still
up.
printing out just the first bit. See if it started.
And you let's try it. Let me try it too to make sure mine's working. I think I have a lot more. So did you call the cache method one more time after changing it to all?
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually.
Okay, cool. So now we have this like cache of books.
Actually, should take a while.
Yeah, like not that, it didn't take that long.
15 seconds.
Yeah. Cool, so we've officially cached. Now if I follow this tutorial, it just says, it just loads, JSON.loads the categories. So the place where in like our index view, when we like refresh, the place where that kind of logic is happening is in our controllers index, in our books controller and index. So I'm going to go to the controllers and go to our books controller. And in index, instead of doing book.all, I'm going to make this variable called Redis books. And I'm going to do json.load redis. And then I have Redis as my global variable. I'm just going to flip back for 1 second to confirm that I called it books. Yeah. And then here I'll just I'm going to say, hey, if you get back Redis books, use Redis books. Otherwise, do book.all. Cool. So now I'm going to do a shift refresh, like a hard refresh. And We'll remember when my time was 9.53 seconds, okay? And I got an error. Undefined method get for nil class. Let's see, let's look at that. Okay. I'm gonna make the function a little bit simpler. Like before I was doing JSON.load in the same line. So let me just do, actually I don't have the try gem, but let me do it here. You know, this might be because I didn't restart my server. Okay, let's try that. So we'll leave the function as is so you guys don't have to change it. Yeah, so now it seems like it's just a formatting issue. So whatever we're getting back from Redis seems to be in some kind of format that Rails can't immediately like parse. So let's, I'm not sure, did you guys get the same error with the JSON.load?
I have the original function that you put in there, and I put the format.
Okay, cool. This one, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's take a look at what's in there. So I'm just going to get the, maybe we can do this in console. So if I do book.first, this is what my book looks like. And if I do, let's figure out how to get the first element of Redis books. Should be, I'll open a new tab. Oh, not books. Redis documentation.
So it's a string.
Oh, what we're getting back is a string?
Redis backup books.
Yeah, so we need to serialize, like basically do like, make it into like a Rails object versus a string. But I just want to figure out how to get the first one so that I can only play with that. Maybe it's all one big string though. Is it all one big string? No. Let's try this. No. Yeah.
I'm looking at the code.
Oh, got it. I think it should be books. Okay. Oh, that's bad. Let's do like, it seems like it's all one big string, right, then? Yeah, it's all one big string. Okay, so let's go to parse Redis out. I think it's just a, I don't think I need to Google it specifically. I can just be like JSON parse. Maybe because I didn't have JSON parse in Ruby.
Your JSON parsing is working, it's just your view code is expected to read those objects that it's getting.
Oh, okay. So we can look into what we get and how to change the view then, right?
Yeah, honestly, if the biggest bang for your buck would be if you cache the HTML.
Oh, cache the whole page.
Well, if your goal is to see the time go from 11 seconds to like much less than that, that would be the big bang for your buck. Like, just go straight to that. But here, yes, you can totally you use something like map the books to a new book.
So Redis books dot. Well, let's see what we get, right? If we do this in console and do the first one, what do we get? Okay, so we get the first book. It looks much like a Ruby object.
Well, it's a hash, which is a Ruby object. It's not a book.
I think it all depends on the
Oh, I see. If I'm parsing, but this is an array of objects too, but it's not book objects, I guess. I think one thing I didn't do is I had a space here instead of parentheses. I'm gonna refresh just to see if it works.
So the hash was a title key, but it's a hash that was not a method type. You can map
Oh, got it.
You can
Okay.
map it to real books, or you can map it to just something that turns the keys into that.
Okay, so Redis book.each do, and then we can have how do I map it to a
Or, you can't do it with each, you have to do it with map. And you can do a map thing to do it in place without each. And I think you might be able to like just put book.new Redis book in the block. I don't know. It might complain about like it might.
but that way I'm not saving it, but I'm creating all these objects.
Yeah, it's a quick way to get something that responds to that.
Okay, let's try that. I'm gonna just restart my server because I had all these. Okay, cool.
It took longer.
It took
That was not
longer.
even done yet. That sucks.
Michael warned me that it might take longer if you have a small database.
Why did it go? Was it always 20 megs? Yeah. Try refreshing one more time. Maybe add a little bit. So the reason it's taking longer
Because of the view?
well, the view it has to do either way. It felt like the parsing you just put like you can just put statements in to figure out where the store part is. But, parsing JSON is for free. Like when it comes back from the database.
Hey, it took less this time.
Yeah, but it's still more complex.
But yeah, parsing The JSON parsing takes time.
But you gotta put little.
Yeah, let's do
You gotta
benchmarking.
time everything.
Let's use benchmark. I haven't used that before. We get this free module with Ruby called benchmark that allows us to like check. So I just have to put a require benchmark. So I'll do that in my controller. Okay, so here it says I can like do whatever calculation in the curlies and then do benchmark.measure, and it'll give me like 4 sets of numbers, which is like CPU time, et cetera, et cetera. I want to do experiments sequentially. So I'll put benchmark outside the whole thing, and then I'll do reporting. So let's do this. Benchmark.bm do X. And then I can do x.report JSON parse. X.report books mapping. Those are really the two that we're going to be comparing, right? For now.
While you're doing this, I'd be interested if you broke up the Redis get into another variable. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah. Maybe books gotten. And then why not? Let's just get database books and compare that. So
Put a dot road after book at all. Otherwise, it'll just execute. It won't execute anything.
yeah, so when you access something from the database, it first just makes like a active record query in a way. Do I need to put a bang? Just load, right?
That's it.
Okay. And then I'm not really sure where, I've never used benchmark before, so I think hopefully it'll show us in console. So let's just try it. Refresh. Actually, I wonder if I should restart.
Oh.
It's spelled the same.
Right.
And you're getting the same error? I wonder if something in this block doesn't go to the next block.
Yeah, it's not available outside.
You can assign it to the left of the X dot.
But then will it be the reporting?
Let's find out.
Okay. Oh, this is challenging.
That doesn't matter.
Okay. Because this resets every time it goes through the loop, right?
Yes, it's already defined.
Let's try that.
Oh, you're right. Shoot.
There has to be a way to use benchmark that's better.
Yeah. You can just initialize them to nil. If you back up, this initializes variables to nil. It controls loop crazy, so it's not going to work this time. It's so terrible.
Yeah, I mean, we could just do this, right? Here.
Oh, don't do that.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Just, can you try my idea? So I actually want to learn.
What do you want me to do?
Just right inside of the block benchmark, just initialize all those variables to right above X in the first report. You have to refresh now just to make sure that works.
Right after doing this?
Yeah, refresh, and it should say Redis books on the okay. And then last database books.
It will probably get nothing in our view then.
No, it should work. It was there for a little bit.
Is that the 3? No. Oh, yeah. Database books. Okay. These 4.
So the books mapping, like Rails mapping from the SQL, like the result set to the objects, it's probably like heavily optimized.
Yeah.
Like they do it in batches rather than what we're doing one at a time.
Yeah. So basically, Redis is slower for getting 10,000 things than.
In this naive way, I think you could apply the same thing. You could apply the same.
Yeah, like use the same optimizations for Redis. So one thing we could do is cache the titles only, right? But I think that would be still probably slower because we wouldn't be batching them. The solution would be to batch.
No, that's a good point. Like, go to your view code.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the only dynamic stuff. Let's assume the only dynamic stuff is books. If books was just a string, we could like stream through that string. You can start at the left side of the string and go with like the first like delimiter, like maybe like a comma with CSV, and then print out like the first row. You can do it row by row. I'm not suggesting you do this.
Yeah, so you don't do the loop if you're getting it from Redis.
You don't do the loop. You don't ever create the objects. You just use the data like raw, and you don't store it all in memory like multiple times. But what would be really fun would be to cache the they should, because that should make it really fast.
So we could cache this whole thing
Cache the
in
whole
a
thing.
key value store,
Yeah.
and it would be a string, and then you just like similarly parse it. Okay.
You wouldn't have to parse it. You just grab it and then send it to the client.
Okay. So one way we can do that is after it's loaded, cache it, right? After we have all the books.
There's gotta be some Rails way to do this like elegantly. The destructured assignment at line 10 only works if the right hand side is in brackets.
I think this is what we were looking at earlier.
Yeah, right? Oh, you know what it is? Go back. The difference between what you have and what Erica has is she has that line 32 inside the big benchmark block.
Oh, do you want me to paste this?
I think we're okay. Oh, that's it. So maybe I was wrong about the destructure. Maybe the destructure is not working.
That's what I've seen it though.
Yeah, it totally works. It doesn't work like if you're returning from a method, for example. Yeah. It's not very useful outside of it.
That's all.
I wasn't really paying attention, but were you using did you like set Rails cache store to Redis?
We set this, so config session store to,
Yeah, but session store is different.
and then we did cache store to Redis, yeah.
Yeah, so in fact, if this is working, well, check this out. You can go to RailsC. You can just, I think you can just do rails.cache, like on the bar. Or rails.cache.store. Right? Sure. I tried to write into the store. Okay. So that's awesome. That's a way you can read from Redis without knowing that you're reading from Redis. So now you can do rails.cache.fetch. Boop. Right? And if you wanted to double check this, like in your other tab, you could ls tmp. And you could rm rf tmp /cache /bit. So earlier when we were fooling around, or Rails, unless you set it up the way you did, like it stores things to the disk, which is a cache. Now if you go back and try and fetch food again, it still works. Yeah, so that's awesome.
Okay, so
So-
Rails is hiding it in its own
Yeah.
thing
so,
as well.
So basically, at this point, you can start Googling for Rails cache views, and if you do it like the right way, it'll use Redis and loading up the stuff. Sure.
Otherwise, it would have used Rails native caching.
Which is just writing files to the disk, which still would be faster than.
Oh, I want to view.
So in fragment caching,
Fragment?
yeah. Go ahead and click on fragment caching. So what you can do is in your YAML or whatever in your ERB.
Just to find recent?
No, I'm looking at the lines below that. Cache to. Cache to.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's literally that simple.
Oh,
so you
cool.
can open, use books index.
And instead
You
of
can put the whole thing. Well, you can actually. This is really nice because you can
compare?
you can do everything but the notice. I'll put it on the outside above the H1. Why not? This stuff isn't going to change either. You don't need action or action suffix. Just cache to.
Oh, that's really cool. So I'll get rid of the break. And
You can put the link in there too.
so our whole view. End.
But you get rid of the parameters you passed.
So we should probably put,
You don't need anything actually.
but if we cached books to the Redis, it's the same Redis. So it
Yeah, but
has
it's not going to find them there. It's gonna store it somewhere else.
yeah. So we need to make sure we use Rails cache when we're caching as well.
This is gonna write to that cache. It reads and writes. I don't know how it works exactly.
Oh,
But
got it.
You'll find out pretty quickly when your stuff doesn't work the way you want it. But you need to get rid of all that stuff in the controller because it's gonna slow it down.
Oh, yeah. So let's just do, to make it simple, I'm gonna just do books.all the way it was. And it'll cache all of that with the view. Okay. I'm gonna restart. So the first time it should take some time.
Yeah, because that's to write, which takes extra time. Actually,
Okay, about the same as before, 11 seconds. It's still going, but it's something else now. Okay, and then now I just do a refresh. It seems to be reloading, right?
Seems like it's taking back from 11.
Oh, really? Mine went from
that
12 to 9.
Oh, yeah.
Try one more time.
It's definitely shorter than before.
Is it? You went from 11 to 10. It's gonna be like that. Go to your Rails server.
Ah.
Scroll up. See, it doesn't look like it's
Let's check the documentation again. Maybe we missed something.
oh, caching is turned off in development. That's what it is.
Oh,
They tell you at the top.
so let's put this in development.rb. Environments, development.rb. And because it's a config change, I definitely will restart my server. Oh. In config, in environments, in development.rb, I put config.actioncontroller.perform caching equals true.
First time it'll write, so that should take more than 11 seconds. Because it was taking about a second or two to write to Redis. Because writes always were slower.
But that won't be, it's not part of the same call.
It is part of the same.
Oh, it is. As it, every time it gets one.
That key, it doesn't find it, so it goes to that, and it writes that. So that's why it took 11.7 longer.
Okay, I'm gonna refresh. What?
So that's actually, I think that's really working. And you can check it by going to Rails. You went too far.
Sorry, it's kind of frozen.
See how it says use 909? And it tells you some caching information.
Oh, and active record 0. The second time refresh.
So I don't know what that 1 second of use is.
Where are you looking?
The left of that.
Oh, the 909?
It's definitely less than 4 seconds. But is it because it's just like taking the layout and dumping that string in there? Because the string is 20 megabytes. It takes a long time to do it. The bottleneck here, I think, is like getting that data into the browser. It seems like.
Yeah. And I'm sure we would see a much more pronounced difference if we had more books. But the thing is, with the view itself, if we could break it down, we could like get different parts cached and see if that makes a difference, right?
I think like pagination is the real solution because like you want your app to be super snappy, and other people like somebody might be on like crappy DSL, right? Right now you're trying to send them 20 megabytes. It's gonna take like an hour to load on the crappy DSL.
Right. So ideally we just make pages. So we could go 2 ways. We could either do pagination now, or we could try to implement search with like autocomplete. Which way would you guys prefer going? Search? Oh, okay. So Gabe, I'm gonna need your help.
What are we trying to do?
We're gonna do search with autocomplete.
How do we do that?
Huh?
We do that with Redis.
We can cache the titles and then search only through the titles in Redis, as opposed to in our database.
I don't know. That's like pretty sophisticated because like, I don't know what algorithm you're gonna use to search, but you obviously don't want to like. I don't really know. Maybe.
I can just do a .include.
Yeah, but that's not gonna be very fast because that's not gonna be nearly as fast as like an index column in the database.
So we'll experience the same thing where we implement it and it'll be slower with Redis.
Yeah. Yeah. Redis is really good for certain things like set operations. Like if you had all the titles in Redis and you were trying to determine whether a given title was in the set.
Right, that's search, right?
It's not search because search usually you like want to normalize for case, you want prefixes.
We could just check for a certain title,
Sure.
right? I guess it wouldn't be a true search then.
No, because when you're doing auto, that's not autocomplete either. Because you type the, you expect to see all the posts to start with the. Like, if you're checking set, belonging to a set, we only find the post called the.
But for autocomplete, we can use a JavaScript like library
I see.
that looks through a string, right?
Yeah, if you were using like data tables, do you remember that stuff? No, don't Google it.
No, I was gonna do autocomplete.
With like Angular.
No, there's like this JavaScript library that does it. jQuery does it, yeah.
Yeah, that's valid. If the downside to that is you're loading 10,000 titles, which you shouldn't necessarily have to do. Like that also gets into the problem with the DSL person. Like that means that you have to load all the titles to every book in your system into the person's browser.
Yeah.
At 10,000, all right, that's already like.
It's probably not that big because we had so many more paragraphs then. It's like only a fraction of the 20 megs.
Yeah, but it doesn't scale, so you're basically wasting your time if you expect to get more books.
Right. Okay. We could just implement search just to learn how to do search with autocomplete, or we could do pagination to focus on optimization then, right?
You can also talk about like the what do you, people using Redis for other stuff, like.
We're using Redis pretty heavily for our app. I can go through and show you guys that.
That'd probably be interesting.
How long would pagination be?
Pagination would not take too long. You can do pagination in half an hour.
Okay. What'd you say?
Canary is the gym.
Okay, let's do that. We use Redis. I can briefly cover this. We use Redis a lot because we have a lot of messages. We're a messaging app. So what we do is we cache the messages from the last day, so that it doesn't query our, like, we have 100 clients querying our database for all their recent messages. Like each of them have 100 users. Sometimes not 100, but like 10 to 100 users. And so if so many people are querying our database, it'll eventually be like our database will basically shut down and be like, I can't do that much. So we basically are caching the messages, that recent messages for every person on an ongoing basis, and like the old caches delete on an ongoing basis. So at any given time, we're only adding like one message every time it comes in. And slowly our like cache is up to date. Like with every message coming in, we add a message to the cache. The last one drops out, and then we keep having this like recent pool of messages for each user. So that's how we use it. I like less familiar with how Michael's implemented it, but he also teaches, so I can have him like teach a class on that if that's interesting to you guys. And then we can do pagination for now. What's the gem you mentioned, Gabe?
KAMINARI.
Okay, so let's get the gem and do a bundle install. Let's start there. Added the gem to my gem file. And I did a bundle install. The default per page length seems to be 25. Okay, so it says general configuration. They have default per page, max per page, and some other variables that I don't think we need yet. Oh, we can generate the default configuration file by doing this. So let's do this. Rails G Caminari config. This is if we want to have a different number of elements per page for different models, but we only have one model, so we don't need to specify. Okay, so it seems like I just order. So they have something in our controller and something in our views that helps, and a helper method. User.order name page. It feels weird to me to do it in the controller and the view, but let's.
You gotta do it in the view to generate the little.
Yeah, I think I'd go with the view first, and then see if that works. If it doesn't, then we probably need to add something to the controller. So in our books index, we can do paginate books. How do I loop and paginate? I need to figure this out. Hold on. Gabe, how would you go through and loop through whatever you were looping through?
I think you just leave it users.each or books.each. It's fine. The paginate, all the paginate does is create links. So you have it right the first time.
Oh, okay. Just like that.
I would put it outside the table because it's weird. So, at the bottom, of course, the URL.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to start my server because I turned it off.
So you do have to.
Yeah. Okay, so this is for views, this is for controllers. So we can order it by title maybe. So in our books controller, it's book.order, and then I just pick title to order it by, dot page, and then params page. Cool? If you guys want to look at it. Oh, awesome. That was so easy. And it's 922 milliseconds.
It would be much faster if you get rid of the cache part.
Oh, the cache too. So if in our view, oh, did I already get rid of it? Oh, it's right here. We get rid of cache, due, and end. And move everything back. I just did a shift tab. Yeah, it's 204 milliseconds. That's pretty amazing.
So you could do a cache on the page. So that would probably make it even faster.
Okay, so
Oh, except, yeah, it would. It would be pretty cool. So that's the really awesome thing about active record, lazy loading, lazy evaluation. Is because you can put your cache around like around the
inside the table,
yeah, you
right?
can't cache the paginate part. You can cache everything from the paragraph tag at the top to the paginate. But you have to give it a key that includes like the page. So I don't remember, but that Rails guide will tell you how to give it a cache key. You turn your brightness up. Did you restart your server? So, it's just one parameter you pass to cache. So you can literally do a cache like params page. You just pass the params page. Params. You have to index the params hash page or the space. And square bracket colon page.
Oh, I see. Because page is the variable that we have.
Try that.
Okay, let's try it. So we were at 204 milliseconds. And the first time should take about the same amount of
A
time.
little more exactly right. Yeah.
And now if I refresh, 109 milliseconds.
There's certain optimizations that Rails like holds back on in development. But like basically, if this was in production, it would be even faster.
How come it seems to be getting, let's see. It's still going to active record. Let me click a different page.
Oh, why is it?
Isn't our params page just like academic?
Where does it? Push load, select load. Oh, you know why? That's dumb. You know why? Man. Put the paginate.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it was 0 seconds for the first page.
I don't understand.
It was 0 seconds for the first page, but for a page that I haven't loaded, I think, like it's 60 milliseconds for the second page, but if I go back to the first page, it's 0. So I think it only cached the first page. Could that
Do a
be?
hard refresh. Just curious. Go back. But it should start caching the second page now.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the second page.
Refreshing up.
Oh, it took 0 seconds though.
So why isn't it?
But for the sixth page, it took time.
Oh, you're right. Got it. I was reading. It's hard. Yeah. Okay, so that's what I was proposing. That works. It kind of works.
Yeah, so is it still in the process of caching then, the other pages, or like
Yeah,
why?
because it's similar to what you're describing for Sonar, where you only keep in the cache the most recent stuff. Like if you have 10 billion pages, you can't cache all of them. So it doesn't load them until you.
Mine just started just.
Yep. Cool.
Awesome.
So the problem with this is like you never know when to expire the cache. I guess if you only have 90, you set it to 90
Like 90
minutes.
minutes.
So that's pretty cool. That would work for a lot of cases where you just really
Yeah.
don't care if it doesn't show up for 90 minutes. But if you wanted it to like show up like automatically, it'd be difficult.
Yeah. This is really cool though. We got it down from 11 seconds to 79 milliseconds with pagination and caching, a combination of both. That's pretty epic. It's sad that Redis, I think I picked the wrong use case for Redis.
This is a pretty good use case. You know, like imagine
Redis came through for the last like 110 milliseconds. What'd you say?
We had a million records instead of 1,000.
imagination, not really.
But the impact that Redis had is the impact that caching had in this situation. And so before caching, we were looking at like 200 milliseconds, and after caching, we're looking at 79.
You know what would make it even more like pronounced would be like, look at the styling here and how boring it is. Like there's no class names, there's no like data attributes for your Angular app. Like and it's not nested. Like,
Yeah.
Once you have like a more realistic layout, the HTML gets much bigger, and the amount of work to generate the HTML gets much bigger.
So if you're caching the page, then you're caching a lot of styling that would take time to load. That's cool. I feel like this is a good stopping point. We can definitely do. I think at Sonar we want to implement Elasticsearch, so we can try to do a lesson on Elasticsearch soon for those of you that were interested in search. So that will help. But for autocomplete, I've implemented autocomplete, and it's really, really easy with the JavaScript, like jQuery UI autocomplete. Like I found a React one because we're built in React. And so if you have the parameters ready to go, like an array of all the things that you could want to autocomplete, which often in your JavaScript you'll have for like basic things, like if you're doing like, I don't know, so like letting someone autocomplete a color or letting someone autocomplete like something that would be a finite set, it's really, really easy to implement that with a JavaScript or jQuery like module.
For Elasticsearch, there's a gem called Chewy for Chewbacca. Why is it Chewy for Chewbacca? I don't remember. It's called Chewy. It's really awesome.
Okay, you should use that. That sounds great. Okay, so this is a good time for me to collect feedback. I learned a lot, Gabe. Thanks for chiming in. I think we should give like feedback, positive feedback to Gabe too, because he's like part teacher. And I think I can. What I can do is just we'll make a repo and share. Okay, so feedback, gonna collect positives, minuses, and then topic suggestions. So it's free forum. If anybody has anything to say, feel free.
Faster.
That's awesome. We made things faster, which is good. Any other feedback? What would make this class better?
Since like I'm at the point now where I can just take what we learned and like go out and play with it.
Cool. Other thoughts?
It's a good topic. Everybody's learning stuff.
remember at the beginning of like the theory behind, Redis versus database, why certain things they why we were
Sounds good.
So now, conceptual overview of caching.
But just like more background and understanding of it. Yeah.
For examples, caching, one loop pairing, and action.
Maybe I'll get around to a blog post on that.
I also wonder if there's like a more standard way of, instead of mapping each, instead of parsing some JSON string and then mapping that to like instantiating the new Rails objects, I wonder if there's like a standard way.
Yeah, could we have done something smarter than parsing JSON and creating Ruby objects? If I find out the answer to this, I know who came to the class, so I'll email you guys. Because that does feel like, I'll ask Michael, I don't know if Gabe has thoughts right now, but it's kind of annoying that serialization and deserialization takes up so much time and such a heavy part of like anything you cache then, right?
Yeah, so I think if you go back to the Rails guide on caching, there's something about caching the database. SQL caching. So, Rails does this, by the way, already. If you do product at all and then product at all.
Oh, it won't re-get
It does
it?
that for free. But I don't know. Basically, at the end of the day, you don't want to give up any optimizations, right? So Rails already has a bunch of optimizations for getting that stuff into projects really fast.
So there's probably ways to embed our stuff in a way such that we're also leveraging Rails optimizations.
Yeah, totally. If you were stuck with a bunch of JSON and you needed to turn it into books, there's got to be a better way than we were doing it. That being said, like, it's conceivable to me that like the data coming back from SQL is like faster to parse than the JSON. Sometimes like different formats have different speeds. Like, so it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. I love this guide. I feel like this guide is really valuable. Something to for all of us to read, right? I guess we could go to topic suggestions now if anybody has like stuff that they want to learn more about. A lot of times I go back to these Etherpads and try to come up with topics for my classes. So I guess we should put search, right?
Other kinds of optimizations, caching.
Anything else you guys want to learn? That's good. Yeah, actually did a lesson on Sidekick, and I think I might have recorded that one. But we could do another one sometime soon too. I can also do another lesson on Sidekick. I think we learned a lot that lesson that could be useful. Cool. Any other comments, questions?
I'll show you something quickly.
Yeah.
In the Rails console,
Uh-huh.
grab like your first book. Say like B equal book out first. And then you can do like S for serialized equal Marshall capital M dot 1L B. Cool.
That's it?
Yeah. And then you could do marshall.load B. There. OS, marshall.load S. No, marshall.load, no.
Oh, got it. Loads.
No, we don't run CSS. Cool, so it worked, and if you look at S, this type S enter, this is like not necessarily the most space efficient. Well, actually, it might be. You could count that. You could do s.length, and then you could do b.toJSON.length. Yeah, so you're basically trading
Got it.
memory for like easiness to parse. Just something to consider.
That's cool.
So like Ruby has this built-in way to serialize, and different serialization formats are more or less expensive, as are different serializers, right? Like one JSON parser might be faster than another. But I think the real economy of scale, like with Rails, is like doing things in batch.
How is that different from yeah?
How's it different from YAML? YAML, not JSON.
No, like Marshall.
YAML supports marshalling this way, like inside YAML. But do you have a more specific question? I mean, they're different.
I mean, like, normally, I think, because I just kind of think of YAML being more, for me, like, being more representative, having more representative in terms of, because something like, I think if you use YAML, you'll be able to retrieve like the book object, it's just sending you back a hash. And
It depends. It depends if you put one of these Ruby objects in YAML.
Yeah.
You can, but if you do it like similar to hash, there's different ways to do it.
Yeah.
You can also do b.toYAML.length just for fun.
Oh, is it YA?
Whoa!
It's so long.
I don't know what's going on there. But it just goes to show these things, like, it makes a difference because all that stuff has to come from Redis to Rails, you know. If you do it with JSON, it's 2K. If you do it with YAML, it's 10K. It's like pretty big difference, right?
That's crazy.
yeah, because I kind of think YAML, like, it saves a lot more stuff, so it's better like retrieving exactly what you put into it. I mean, I haven't used Mesh, so that's all those things.
What does YAML look like? Oh, it adds a lot of spaces.
It's
It
all the
seems.
spaces, isn't it?
Yeah.
So YAML is easier to read. That Marshall stuff is the hardest to read. How are you going to read that? Good luck.
Cool. Thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for coming, Gabe.